yen nyina paramountcy Gama nche wo paramount chief wo mo so wo paramount chief hwe na wo Gama ano den yenko Tema mra de yenko tie opani emra
odupai wo chenye bia lebine koni wa Ghana mamunfen ale nibi komani iyana ye ga kupane no ake gamanche to ni ike awake keje Tema on ka gbo su eye eshishi wo bega shishi wo yen wo yi ga wo yen wo yi wo fe gamashi yen wo fe wo yo yomokome ni yemo je man wo mpasa ye mangode atoja Hausa mpasa mangode atoja Igbe ti yemo no aka wo fe wo yo ga ona ni oni gamanche ba ke wa ke keje gamashi manche ba ke keje bie ka gbe ga ta fa che wo shi wo be shi nina fe wo yise ne je ni Awolowo no si a restore chuchukwe we performance yombo dani je na nkra ba sim power ni ibalage si a demote keje osu ko agbe Tema bona fe ni gamanche after the only performance in the greater carriage ene wa fe aban commission na aban commission ke no bebe na kan allegiance gamanche no beni abahu katamanso ta eme Ashanti e fontane konka magien de ba gamen wo fe ekobe no ka mo kita ke bugo je buguse ko otamokome ye otaofe wo yi do na kita na kan ka wo manche e akan akechi nuwo akọnuwo ke brema akechi ke otamokome ye otamofe mo ye odomoje be no no wo tole oath of alliance the oath of allegiance or pay allegiance to Gamanche. No, alliance. Gamanche manche. Kota mukumi ota maji fe ai. Boni yole ne.
Eti ahase na ensantofo ni bi ebisa na won kana kasem. Pacho mo amoten kran no wo a won tisumi kire mo akire wo. We wo say ne tintini tietie nyina ne se Tema no ede ne ho Gamashi ede ne ho omu nyina ne baaye ne mu akatamanso wo Asante ene Britain for omu nyina kekombo mbekon ye no Tema bekon bi ebe ya alliance o me pay allegiance memu obeka gadangwe hu no omu nyina akonti Asante eti Tema no ene ede ne ho na Gamashi so de ne ho ne mom nokra ne se Gamanche no Gamfo no omu mekontokwa bia nkonka ba bia no my kingdom because without you fighting to conquer you can't be a kingdom without being say we conquer na wa jinsase you can't be a kingdom only in Ghana and now benya educated fools fake historians etimi create a kingdom where enipa no kwan kontokwa da aha on conquer ba bia dan so say me ye kingdom dabi onya kingdom only refers to obi a wakwa build a kingdom. Wa fight to conquer, no dia build a kingdom. On conquer ya wunya kingdom. Sa on conquer enye you can be a kingdom, ultimate build a kingdom. Eti only in Ghana na ya no politics into one years an kwase asem no. Na wo hini say enkranfo no enkokuntu enyu ba bia no my kingdom. Eye gamashifo no. Na omo no omo be kan gamashifo ma omo ne Britain ekoti Asante akatamaso wo. Eti enye gafo ntimi ni wo so santokwa na nya gafo ne wini gafo gamashifo no wo mu wini ntokwa bia che se wo metimi di Tema wo meji Tema be show mase na mom Asante dia ne de Asantefo no wo mu dia ne de wo mu akonka ba bi bebre e no ma build the kingdom ti Ghana no the only kingdom wo mu nim e ya Asante yenko o de yenko ti zanjoni ni ebusa no wo mu kasem e no wo ka kire ne se wono de onima ne se kingdom onima ye Asante asa onim kingdom bia bio yenti ase
Yes. Ashanti Israel solo. Yagama Israel. Ashanti me amefata. ke ote bonga afọ region majiko mejeme region ni ame o allegiance to Ashanti ni ameka me huta na me yame no na mo mache ne kwaje me ha me si wo fakuta okay mo hukuta wo fe wo je far east you over at different periods but the fact ago we won ko be do tun akechi buku amugo chichi wo fe wo ba differently wo kusumi no fe hu solo but if you tell buku amugo chichi
enti utie de ensanchro ni busa no won kan kasa mu wo say Asante Fante means Asante no ochina brand woye kingdom enu ntina bunu na site bunu hafu nyina na ehye na se okokonka ho during the 18th century ye ohina ne ye ho sabre no Sante nyina no de fe no Katachi Opoku the first we open history but it seems say ya na enipa bi pese ye nyina ye nkasa we are all the same ahemfu nyina ye pe ya kaka o de opa di pusama enso obeko enkrafo bi today and political nkran no ye nyina ye pe we are so strong. We are strong for where? You are strong in your kitchen. History, you can't wipe it away. It's yon se ne ya Tema fono ehunu se gamachifo sisi womo. Now they have to cite Asante. Dabiane just womo kan Asante asemu. Say Asante emfa obi nkan mpani se de ya ye ne ye kabat womo aka no. Sa asem bia to womo quickly they have to run to Asante history. And yes they can't find themselves. Asante history mu na betimi apeke wo de enye sa wo kan history ko bia ntie to on say quickly inside Johnny ni busa na say it is a say no ye per kingdom hwan no say only Asante na omo no de omo ba individuals from the east and omo ba ye gamashifo ne omo obi aba ne kwan so obi aba ne kwan eti enya de omo no omo ba omo nya kingdom na only Asante no kwa na ye kingdom etina wono wako konka ba bia no site bono afo nti wo betena se na obi timi person che say what the 4 years politics e pese wote me pese me equalize na me hene ne Asante hene ye pe otu ohwe nkrafo ni bia eto na no makofa gamanche say wo mo de gamanche betutu otumfo ho eno no NDC politics o ye ka chem se munyai gamanche enye ni nafe eni Sante hene enye no kore ti de ye ka no sa obetia se so wonti ase ye wo wasem ena wontimi nsesa hwe ti de aka no na to de de na mo ko a mo ankasa mo beba Asante history mu na mo timi de atem ho enei temafo no ikono onsa temafo no ani abre onso mo ka no kore o de yenkonkotie ni English mu na mpese yetie ni nkran mu no bi ankasa yentie English mu so yentie temafo no ani abre yentie English mu so nka ho.
Our old lady and gentlemen of the press, we have invited you here this morning to address a matter which, among others, is of grave concern to us, the chiefs and people of Tema. It may be recalled that sometime in last September 2023, the Tema Traditional Council caused a letter to be written to some companies in Tema in response to an earlier letter from the office of the Gamanche, which sought to create the impression that Tema was under the Ghana paramountcy. Ladies and gentlemen, we observed through our monitoring of events in the various media in the past few weeks, and that the impression aforementioned seems to be resurfacing in certain quarters of the country. We would like you to know and make say known to all and sundry that Tema so is an autonomous paramountcy with mandate to determine its own affairs and not under any other stool in the Greater Accra region. We say this because of the following reasons. One, Tema being autonomous as it is today, even dates back to the pre-colonial era, and we have exercised that right as indigenous uninterrupted by any external influence or allegiance. We therefore deem it necessary to state that the right we enjoy remains today as it was. And so it is unthinkable for any chief who enjoys the same status as we do to claim superiority over his colleague paramount chiefs in the Greater Accra region. One may ask why the then government approached me, Ajiti Ansah II, as an autonomous paramount chief of Tema when it wanted to acquire Tema lands for the purpose of constructing a harbor and industries and not Gamanche or Gamanche for that matter. We as people of Tema celebrate 2 festivals in a year. That is the Kweju and no more festivals. The right to enjoy, the right is enjoyed by us exclusively, and there is a reason behind which exclusive is known to Tema only. To the extent that the people of Gamashi are not even aware of this reason behind these celebrations within a year at different periods, how then do they claim their superiority over us? On order of various capacities regarding the stools, the highest title to the occupant of each stool is the paramount chief. So much as we are at par with them in that capacity, it is unjustified for them to claim superiority over us. The worst we can do is to readjust ourselves as a Ghana people, and by convention, put things the way we want it to be, in our case to perhaps merge as one people. The fact that we all speak the same language does not necessarily mean we will claim that language to be a town. It is for that reason that we in the course of Gamashi was added. We all came far from the Far East at different sojournings and settled in the coast. Even in the case of Nungwa, who came first, they have never claimed superiority over any town, in which case we have accorded ourselves the needed respect and courtesies. We reiterate that Tema is autonomous, in that the then relationship that existed between us and the Gamashi was that of an alliance and not allegiance. We as people of Tema do not swear any oath of allegiance to any chief in the Greater Accra region. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we shall in the next few days, through the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, forward a copy of this statement to the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Regional Affairs, in the hope that the concerns we have raised will be promptly addressed. Thank you for your invaluable time. You have seen me fast. Thank you very much.
Okay. Eti abusia pani a woda Tema paramount sinano ena wode nsem atodwa na wo ka kire se obia ntiase se obia de ne ho no mobile wo free east ne bae Gamanche ultimate impose as a superior on them na wo kire mu no na se stand just omuko site Ashanti ena omatimi a conclude di omoka no also omo ni bibia friend kingdom Gamanche onye kingdom onye king wo Tema so enti papa no wa chechere ni nsemu na asem ne se ya na nipa ne bi nim no kore wo chinchina yen kasem memetie Usain Bolt onimirika to cheme enso chinchina me nko kase me ni Usain Bolt ebetimi atumirika pe tema anya ne saade a kire se obi taa me anya no kore di wulem hwaso di wulem na munya ntokwa na mo ko a yehunu ba bia mo ahoden yefiri eti omso ye nyina ye nipa na obi akasa wo ya ponche obi say recognize what was there, don't try to equalize adia na ni ho say wo chinchina me pesa me ni Asante fo ye sante hene ye pe na ni tiri ya sheda ye politics Martina Wankwa mechia pa John na akwa pa anti Jerry mechia Ernest Ajiman nana kwa mechia mo boso bia sada ye say I say mo kase ye ni Asante hene nya pede na chese mo ye tribalist ye utiri so no wa pampa so munya ntokwa na mo ko a kire say e kire ha mu esiduo sitie eda na wo chinchina say me pese me krom hene ene o Asante hene ye pe eno sa no wa achieve dey na wa achieve dey say do ma hene nsamfo ya na odie ono pese o de ne ho betoto Asante hene ho wa hwe krom na hwe Asante hene eti edubre na mo ko amu ankasa ma be ka no kore no ebi na Tema hene abai wo ka no kore o kire mo enkrafo ni bia so ajebo mo bia akota tena buro kire no wo enu ti wo hu Asante ni awota ne se Asante hene ye kase ya cheni krom na krom hene ni tipeni Asante hene ukrom hene ni tipeni Asante hene ukrom hene wodi akon wo he wo konka he fa ntu nsua de Britain broni na wusua no na wo se yenya wo no onim what is the meaning of a conquerors obi a wa conquer onim broni na wo kakasa wusua ne brofo na nti yenya wo bibia ye wahi no broni ni onim the meaning of a conqueror. When somebody conquers obey autonomous obey authority. Kwame Nkrumah baya che se Kwame Nkrumah na be kire wahine bi no wahine bi tu hwan na ka kire wo mumma hinie no ana Nkrumah na be kire mu sade mu sitie nti Nkrumah kasa mu na anamada by Asante Nkrumah nkase ya nam ye da ensi obeto ye etu obehunu se wadu a place bi a autonomous a kingdom besi ne tina wahine bia no will make sure so you have to come and bow down to otumfo obeba anya sa wahine wo mamu ne nkoye da because obeto wa man bi wo man bi mu nti ya munsua de eno te bi enipa bia efifiri ba bia se da develop hatred enso edu ntokwa na mo kompe mo be site sa Asante senete na ka de na mo kama asem akofa Asante ni aba because wo hunso so no bi te ba bi hwe mo me anwene ho anu ti no won pese wo mo yese ma Asante fo no kra nkoso promote Asante sem because momenta obekoso promote Asante ne asay yo mo ya asay ye nkrofo promote sadia na yesu yakamo ene wo me attack wo mo say wo mo ya tribalist. You are sick, you are mad. Ukrom hine ne ntoma yesay ni busa ukrom hine ne ntoma yesay na o ninti o yenya na ye kase chinchina ahemfu nyina ye pe hwan na ka kire wo sa ya hwe ukrom hine ntoma ofura hwe ukrom hine hwe ne ntoma ofura eti ahemfu nyina anya pe no Akufo-Addo wa ntimi ama ahemfu anya pe enya obi mahama ye wotesu ontimi nka se chinchina memi santene nka se ahemfu nyina ye pe ensi da mahama eda obeye sade ne yebetu na de so eda mahama se me pesa ahemfu nyina ye pesa da ne yebetu na de so Asantefo betu no tiachire me ka kire no sada na yebetu mahama de so obi e ne obetu maka se ahemfu nyina ye pe ukono obi kasa sa nipa no obi a wo yare and or candy ho. But when it comes to documentation, in fact, evidential or hini bia nyape any Asante hini nyape. And if we now stages, categories of chiefs, ye chiefs and ye a king, brofocus and emu. Dear friend Asante hini. Sami kurum hini ni Asante hini yepe. Sana wana chira sa no oya sana eno na ama why kesi why I no how upa so chira say enti chinjira yen ka say oh wo hini bi won kan no so ye ken wo yen wonya kin bi ani nkran ho ken bi ani nkran ho we dia hini ani die ne ma wo hini bi ani wo won kan ho a wo ne osu Asante hini ye pe won nkran ho hini bi ani ho eti Tema so de no etoda ya ne ye pese ya ne ye no mo kon boku but enipa bi ma omum pese ombesua de yeah en Accra na esi wo no wo hini bia ni ho a wo ye ken wo ho Accra wo hini bia ni ho broni so wo ye paramount chief eno maji atum Kintakitawia wo ye paramount chief wo Gamanche wo ye Gamanche broni so wo ye paramount chief anu waji atum omu ho bebre osumanche ningwa manche hwa manche omu nyina ho omu nyina the same level ho nto ukrom hene na ede na one Asante hina bebe okuji kuro be ya sa won kunji kuro bia forget it history sa won konka ya onye konkara konka ya you can be called a conqueror the entire Asante for your friend conquer and say wa conquer, and that is history. You can't change it. So pay history as be a mempe, but don't tell me that it's not there. And I don't just say so pay history India, so I don't want to learn history, so I'm okay. But don't tell me say it is not there. It is true. It is there. It is there, and it shall be there, and it will be there forever. It is yes, why? And until Santini nya otamfo. Santini wonya otamfo me anwe ho ukrom hene woni Sante hene nyepe wonko hwe anye hwe efiri esoro besi ase etwam Asante etwam efafa no obie ni okon age bibia Ghana ho Ghana kuro no hini bia no okokwa gyewe onkonye hwe I had a reason so ti Tema for so de no say we aye won be starting to kwa no just empanimfu ko munya say be on be dan to kwa sesia because akoba ne say wo mo no ntena se emro mo nim se wo mo nyina ne fira bi ne bae nti wo mo ntena se ma wo metwimfo mo so ti Tema for na so ase just wo mo kom eti Tema so de no Gladys upon o me free UK mo ya share page no be like why kokuru motini me so like share subscribe to the channel yen to aso eti yen free Tema na yemra nti Tema so de no ye no mawie tio wa wo nya santini no sansem we ye mimi nya akada wo enya wo na wo be kire asante hwe enya wo a wontimi kire asante hwe wontimi me kire asante hwe enya wo na wo be kire se me pese chinchina me nka se osu hene ni asante who born dog who are you say ade ya gamashi ehene eni asante hene yepe se mo anka sa ade ya chesa mu ye tribalist eni ye tribalist tam 3000 years ago because you can't twist history in my face broni grant me anto me history now wo jodaki ukosuya abede ukosuya eni ne ba ena wo be twist asante history are you normal broni no ono betwetwe nkrata be kon ye no wantimi antwiste the history of Ashanti kingdom na wo jodaki na wo kosuya de ai eni ne ba bi ni ne ba na so be yentena se wo se ne wo hunu tai bo nti ube yentas na twist Ashanti history you liar you lie bad tie de ye kana ho nto ukrom hene woni Asante hene nyepe emobi and deceive you. Let no one deceive you. This are reality. Matters just say emobi anada. Anutina Ghana or I ekura wachiche or ye flag. Or building a flag ewo wiase nyina na Asante. Wachiche ni kuro no ye flag from 1935 now kuro na e dey say now ukuro di ni say 1935 and Asante chichiri ni kuro eti buza say na ukuro na e friend say wona na kuro na e friend say I'm more video na etiasem Asante hene na okọ Caribbean Barbados and all can sing be. Would you entiasem o kind was he?
I was confronted, not confronted, but I met
Jimmy Armstrong. Jimmy, we mumu bina me friend say mu educated fools no because moment bibini ba kan history pe no amabroni Jimmy na adwene say wo kan ade ye wo dia pe wo ye tribalist and say wo ye inferior. Jimmy, you can watch me but I will hit you hard for you to come to your senses. Say who defended bibini pe now you become a threat to your own people. And untina unsa you have nothing to show off. Tiedemeka Jimmy, either you watch me or you stop watching me. I am telling you, say, Sana Bibi Bruni Diayamu. The moment Bibini will start to realize himself, see himself, say, Minie, this is what I have. Pay now obey threat on one Kasan and Crawford. On say, me church the power of Asante, before history. And yet Chinese, Uyanku Bibini will problem to see a friend tribal lines. No. Jimmy, you have less idea. Either you watch me or you come to your senses and I will give you fire. Now, what say? Now you learn. Now you will learn. And no bro need yam into my gen ada. It be binino, adia any dia be any time. Or on him so campaign, Yabaka me a tribalist. Yabaka me a deal with your chum. And so, or go back young palace. No could pictures. Now Brett Foka history and no tie. Munyaisa, Jimmy, Jaisa. We are sape oh how nananum wo generation ebe inferior tie canon ate oba say I friend the reason so eno na Ghana for bia is so weak so inferior they have nothing to show off eno tina Asante ba bia all out o say hwe video Caribbean for the first time Jamaica so mo see boss say the king of Ashanti abaho Ko Jamaican platform baby a osi amfro krom hene na aka se ye di na ye twen se broni ne me promote yanka baby yanka ye fro tumfo me no ka sai o wo Suriname sesi ye o do ofri Washington and ra o ko Suriname o hososo o mo Independence Day no on na special guest abi before there said o masi ase ne de o dwene ho a wonte ase yenti otumfo about colonization and slavery response a wode ma ne nana bi.
I was confronted, not confronted, but I met a Surinamese in Holland. And she wanted to ask questions. I said, let her ask. She said, Majesty, why did you sell it to the people there? Why did you abandon us? I said, my dear, let me be very honest with you. As I speak to you now, we are all now educated and civilized and all those things. But we are still being manipulated by the West. So 400 years ago, if at this stage I'm still being manipulated, my economy and everything is in their hands, what would you have thought about 400 years ago? Where my granduncles were, what? They didn't know anything about anything. So they went there, forcibly bringing Kofi here, Kofi asserting his authority to get back. So I said to she came back, knelt before me and shook my hands and said, Majesty, I thank you. I thank you very much for being very frank and open with me. I said, so it wasn't our fault. They are still controlling your economy wherever, my economy wherever. So we are not in charge of it again still. America, Britain, everywhere, it's happening. We still will be manipulated. They will still come to us to take our resources and take it back there. That is why we have to sit up and then see how best we can manage our own affairs.
Right. Eti, way aye Ashanti hene. Bronisi friend the king of Ashanti kingdom. Africana. Na why no say. Can you no bate? Oh, muna nanum ne ton ye. Na mo ton ye. Na o say ohia baako Sudanese bi. No o cheche mu kire no. O se na de na mo ton ye. No o tiri na o se na. O se ye nyina ya se mo ko school ho. Munum kan. Chesia me no kasa no. The Bretton Woods institutions, the global authority, global institutions are still under control. They are in charge, and we are under them. Do you think that those days where the media, there was no media, there was no news circulation? Say no musiye. If so today they are controlling us, sabre and deni siye. And no muktina siye no. Omu say. The whole Africa, no Kurana na your friend sub-Saharan Africa, no. One more they intention say they will build a multinations, the Ashanti kingdom. That breno will be a Colonial no be at the krum. But Ashanti in an expansion. Ashanti in an expansion. So woman get too offended because not Portuguese aba, then the Dutch for naba and a Britain for aba. So omu say Ashanti said what ya boy ron walk Togo Benin, over Burkina Faso ho. And they Cote d'Ivoire no walk on. The Oman Yanoma Church Africa anymore. You benya problem. Benya problem. Anti Berlin Conference acquired the partition of Africa. And yet, you know, another way saying it, or more silence Ashanti. Because no one says Ashanti were intentions about the multilateral countries. Eti Ashanti expansion can be an umbe partition Africa. No. Ashanti expansion can. Anti and they was obi kana Ashanti for na ton mu na wan na yewura Ashanti hini so oyi o frɛ ne nana na oyi na no ka kye no was abeda na na thank you for educating me. So it is a unim history about Africa. Shut up. Don't tell me say when somebody start to talk about Africa you become offended. Stop that. Without talking you say obebodamo efrifie. So if you don't know from where we don't know where you are from, you don't know where you're going. And until you are forcing to be Pan-African where you have no idea of Africa. Etimakacho said 99% of African Pan-Africanists are dumb. Only a weak. They are worse than even the oppressors. I don't like them. I dislike them. They can't win any battle. Only prepare to stand on. Pan-Africanists one, they have nothing to stand on. Onwa Egyptology onima de kro. Onim the foundation of Egypt onima de kro. Eti da bia no rely the broni akyere And those who control the news controls the thinking of the people. Eti sab abrofuna atwetwe nkrata no mo na atost history a na okoti. Na meme ye Santinia. Meme na nanu mofi ase meme metie wo pan Africa ne say obi atwetwe kata bi ku paper so. Kai wonya smart. Anything pan African they can survive. But Ashanti survive be sine. We are survival almost 400 years and over. Ya survival. Ebe sine. Tire ya katro no. Because we have something to stand on. We can show you something. And utina Marcus Garvey mo Martin Luther King no de you see and na many African Americans be Asia na me so mo say so we catch what is the traditions and culture of African American? Tell me one. What is the traditions are African American that they can use, they can boast on the reason why most African Americans when we are intellectuals when we are easy to be wiped off and they say they have nothing to stand off when we activism, they are just activists and easy for them to take you down because one was oklemuso are African but onim way onim baby ofi the brody never find no coin one or rely on eti sadi and so obi na kire eti you lose it, you lose that battle. But broni no or one ni culture obetumi atresi akwa kosi Alexander the Great obetresi akosi obetro say ye free ha we na ye nana dia enya wo dia sa wo koka bi pemfa eti ya bi before no ya wasem bone po total ya na yes empesa me ye pour fire no go we don't care great than wo yikwan wo ba on care dua bia wo yikwan fefefe de to on care si anya na sa bi before no bi ye omo ye damp omo dadodo eti ayi excavator na epa no wo yikwan no so wo basa ye be wie no wo yikwan fefefe to wo sa netie broni ni dia se bibini trim se sa wo timi identify ho pe e kire wo se wo ye bad broni na ye wo sa ono no krom identify no ho wo identify no so won ko ye because of say what dwen no e wo fom ti wo se wo identify ho a e be ye tribal mo be ye tribalist e na agitum wo say ono wo identify no ho eti ko paper so America o de dating app kekekura no dating app yebebusawo which of these races do you identify or twin bibini anadwia ayemre dating app kekeno ese yema hunu se wo ye hwan African American, Black, Hispanic, Filipino, Asian, Indian American, Jew American or twin bibini ma wadwini nyini. Because the moment you lose where you come from, you have lost anything. You lose everything. You lost it. The American, ulusu umfante sem, ulusu anguna sem. You are nobody. You are nobody. Sa ulusu wa frafra sem, usrem sem, ukurusi sem you are nobody. Eno na me ye no. O twese broni na me correct no. O signature. Be who you are. You can't be like me. You can't be like Obroni. Be who you are. And stop this hypocrisy. When a catcher say, Samimi Ashanti, we young and yes, you are mad. What do you need, Saint here? Now, we are not the American example. Now, say, where you white American, where you black American, Omonkoye. Now, the way and the man, Mimi Ashanti, a young Kwong, other than Yakun. Because what one say, what condition what Jenny say at one adie bi wo hu bi anye na wagiatum yeah and so ono no krom wo no o fele form bia o pese wo hu who you are ada na wonyim firi ho say identify yourself is wrong and a tribalist or a dear ada na Britain America bro ni wonyim firi ho ko online say asa wo to insurance na hwe say ye beka say identify ho a ko tira so ne ko bom ye hwe mo bon abi before ni bia bon dodo sadi possible ko no wa school ntina maka cho say so obi ko school be pa adwuma ye does not measure the intelligence of that person obi ko school and obi cambrofo it doesn't measure the intelligence of that soul subject na dwene for critical analysis ni hwade so be pass here before no assemble po yeah office o cambrofo a chese oni nyansa o sorry ano ye na broni na ekire ni nyansa o ka se broni wasese o be kire nyansa ma na epa ho o ka se wasei eti yɛmfa no no si ase yɛbɛhyɛ da ba metwa teacher asafo kantanka ka ɔba on yɛbɛto aso but still na no ɔnto mo ho I don't know enti yɛnto aso eti hyɛ no nso sɛ ɔtumfo sɛ to abio ɔsantehene ɛwɔ Caribbean ɛna waka kyɛw sɛ ɛnyɛ me na metɔn mo yɛntɔn mo yɛde mo call by force na ɛnɛ yi kura wopɛ sɛ ɔhu sɛ ɛyɛ force ɛnyɛ ɛkwan yɛ fa so de mo kɔ ɛnɛ hwɛ all governments is being controlled by the same Western powers. All governments, all churches, everything, they are controlling us. This is Osantehene, the conqueror, or a conqueror.
I was not confronted, but I met a Sudanese in Holland. And she wanted to ask questions. I said, let her ask. She said, Majesty, why did you sell it to the people there? Why did you abandon us? I said, my dear, let me be very honest with you. As I speak to you now, we are all now educated and civilized and all those things. But we are still being manipulated by the West. So 400 years ago, if at this stage I'm still being manipulated, my economy and everything is in their hands, what would you have thought about 400 years ago? Where my granduncles were, what? They didn't know anything about anything. So they went there, forcibly bringing Kofi here, Kofi asserting his authority to get back. So I said to she came back, knelt before me and shook my hands and said, Majesty, I thank you. I thank you very much for being very frank and open with me. I said, so it wasn't our fault. They are still controlling your economy wherever, my economy wherever. So we are not in charge of it again. Still, America, Britain, everywhere it's happening. We still will be manipulated. They will still come to us to take our resources and take it back there. That is why we have to sit up and then see how best we can manage our own affairs.
Right. Eti do oti krewi ene brawe ngmaso krobia sante kotoko na se to abio Ashanti maura broni se friend the king of Ashanti broni kasa no ye de ne friend of Santehene eti wachechirim Jamaica for nyina no sa speech wo mani ajepa dodo no anu amunya nte ken mfiri the king na no because omunim so omunan omudodo no anu omunana no enti wo kod aye ene Caribbean ho nyina omu pages opia omu nyina bloge omu nyina send these messages to tell their people say it is not true say omu catch say ye nananom neto because the king himself is here in Caribbean waba or live in Barbados and wakatre pain anyo ne ton ye this message is going viral ekwa chiripa just be Ghana ni a wota Asante na on party ti ayi Jamaica for ni nyina wo mani agye ne obete you come here the king come back in Jamaica the king is in Caribbean we call him kapa to anesa o come pages o mo kapa to anesa yo the king come to Barbados some alive here king of Ashanti is here as you know I will kapa to anesa yanto aso enti teacher kan talk about yeden be urem but me de metu yenuanom fo yeah alima to tyrant akwaba metu yenuanom fo yeah be who you are broni was set agenda bebre amaye na edi yeso we weekend ye yadwen maf ofrafra sam hu hian saso na ma wanwona sam hu hian enka kire me say sa wo kasa wo ya anwonani na me ya Asante ya yebeko wo kasa pay there's something wrong with your thinking Okasa pay there's something where you be na ya osa or yes to reduce your thinking wo ma wadwene say enu ntina wo mpa hwe atie wo krom no mimi am ya Asante me pa bibia tie wo mi krom eti me tibia am kai se me komi nchi nti me kai me krom se me kwa koye bibi wo mi krom na aboa tum develop me krom. Without the people there's no country. Unimama me kanchira without the people there's no country. A nipa ne constitute to build a country. So when the people are weak, the country is weak. Sana broni ye. Because onim say a nipa ne weak. And into omo chichiro omo kro no. Omo did strong people and a kuta devotion, culture and tradition. No omo chichiro omo kro. O tiama broni weak in wadwen. O ye wakochiro ne ba b ne ba c ne ba. O wani age. O ye damp. And into the ye hu kotoko fa kranshim no. because the people are so weak. Ye test for Bruni at the watcher ye. It's in our call apart from Ashanti Fono, any or more canipino. We had to do a Ghana Fono, or money to Bruni just or to Bruni so. Or Cambrofo, or Crown, Cambrofo, or Simenia Bear. I can speak good English. It's just say, or you are not there. Mobrofno can yen can America. Brofno can yen can Britain. Miami, excuse our brains, oh. How we now banana Santifo country, Momocas and baby, our weather. What your own? You now we have a catcher, me say, oh, yeah, now from one wabba. I brought young penty and nipa. Hey, you know, and you know, ultimate, no, bet them say the pay. Your penny pankabo would on an uncanny pomo munchaman and a wabbit remsa. Ukrom hene, on canny pomo munchami, crom hene, and a wabbit remsa nipa pay. Yen dada, yet ye kick any penny in our boom, yen, no, I bet me.